This is Ricky Moore with the Burleson Star. I'm here with Burleson football coach Gary McElroy, and this is the Week 8 edition of the 2-minute drill. We're coming off a big win by the Elks over the Spartans, 55-35 in the boot game. You keep it for the third straight year. You got a little dominance going over them. Quick thoughts on that game?
It was a great win for our football team. I thought we executed pretty well. Centennial did some things that put us in a bind and, had some quick scores. But I thought we responded well. And, just overall, I think we played a pretty solid game.
Kind of in the first half, you made the long drive to score twice. And Centennial had the quick score, so it's y'all kind of reverse fortunes. But in the second half, you hooked up. Payton and Bissell hooked up 3 straight times for big, quick scoring drives. What about the atmosphere? Just
great atmosphere. I thought, both student bodies were very energetic, which makes for a good game. Our student body is very energetic. They're fun. They're having a good time. So their energy feeds us. Our energy feeds them. So it's it's a school effort.
This week, you got Aledo, number 4 ranked team in the state. Y'all are tied with them in district. Same records, 5-0, sorry, 6-1 each. Quick thoughts on, going back to Aledo for the first time.
Our approach to this game is like any other. It's a district game. They're a very good football team. We've talked about some things that could potentially be on the line, with the win in this game. So our kids are aware that, a win Friday night affords us some opportunities ahead of some others. But they have a nice stadium, and it'll be a good atmosphere. We should travel well, so we're looking for a good game.
What kind of meant just you personally?
I've been gone there for 10 years.
I know, but you still probably know people there.
Well, yeah, I know a few.
Know the AD there.
I get asked that all the time. I mean, I've been gone there for 10 years. This year I think makes the 10th year that I've been gone. I don't know any of the kids. I don't. I recognize a few names. But that's a
kind of meant like coaches. I'm sure
there's a couple of coaches.
Still coaches,
That's
Your number 1 offense in the district against number 1 defense. What's going to be the key this week?
Well, we just have to keep producing. Offensively, we have to make sure we produce. They're very good defensively. They're certainly not going to give us anything. We're going to have to manufacture some first downs and make sure we get some touchdowns out of it. We don't need to settle for field goals. We need to make sure that that we're able to be balanced and then finish with scores.
That's kind of what Coach Geller said about last week. They couldn't park the car in the garage enough times.
Yeah.
So you don't want to park on the street. You want to park it in the garage.
Right.
Preston's season. Just talk about that.
Preston's having a great season. I mean, he's a fabulous player. He's smart. He understands the game. He understands our offense. He's extremely athletic. He's tough. He's with what we do offensively. He is exactly what you want at quarterback. Had a couple. Isaiah Hall was a good quarterback that came through here, and he's now playing college football. But he wasn't the type of player that Preston is now. And will. As we go through the years, this is the type of kid that you want to identify early as a quarterback in our system. He's having a great year. I mean, he's leading the district in passing and rushing. He's accounted for the majority of our yardage, either throwing or running. So, he's a major cog in the system here.
This is kind of I guess the system. That's kind of what he's grown up in. This is what you looked for when you first got here. You needed someone to transition from the old system to your system, and he's been through it all the way. And this is kind of the way you want players to get to build players.
Yeah, I my very first year here, he was in the 8th grade, and I played quarterback for us in the 8th grade. And watching him, I kind of knew that he would be what we were looking for in that position. That eventually, when the time was right, he would take over the offense, as long as everything progressed. And then watching him through his freshman year and playing a little bit of quarterback his sophomore year, but playing some running back, playing some receiver. It was obvious that he could do a number of things. Good football player, good athlete, and him taking over. He did a good job last year, but just being his second year as the starter, it's very obvious that he's very comfortable with what we're doing.
It was probably good to have Isaiah here when he was a sophomore, because you might throw him in the fire. And
yeah, I mean, you have to be careful, with a young kid like that. He didn't start. He never started his sophomore year at quarterback, but there was a time where we set Isaiah down pretty early, and he played the majority of the game and did really well. And that was against Waco High. Nearly came back and won the game. And at that point, I knew that we had a pretty good one there.
But Isaiah was pretty good too.
But Isaiah was pretty good
too. Anything else? Any other thoughts? Anybody hurt or anything?
No, not anything major. I mean, it's
kind of the dings.
It's week 8, so you've got some kids that are beat up and banged up, but just like everybody else, But it's everybody will suit up. Everybody should play come Friday.
And this is a huge springboard, because if you can get a win over Aledo, then not only are you're guaranteed a playoff spot, but it also makes those last 2 games a little less daunting, other than just to keep things going on. You've got Crowley at home and then at Everman.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if you win Friday, that gives you 5 wins in district, and that pretty much, that clinches a playoff spot. There's a potential, depending on what we do the next 2 weeks, potential for a district championship. But yeah, it makes those next 2 games. It takes a little pressure off, on those next 2 games.
And even a loss, you're still in a great spot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and look at it, and probably get somebody else to sit down and look at it. But I think the game between Crowley and Everman, I think if Crowley beats Everman, I think we are pretty much
in the playoffs.
I don't know for sure, but looking at the others that still have to play each other and all that, and the number of wins and who we've beaten, I think if that were to happen, if Crowley were to defeat Everman, I think that could potentially get us in.
Okay, well, next week it's coming up on Halloween, so we'll have a couple of Halloween questions.
Okay.
You might have somebody throw candy corn at you during the process of the 2-minute drill, or you might not. Anything else? That it?
That's it.
We're going to let you go then, folks. This is Ricky Moore with the Burleson Star with Burleson football coach Gary McElroy. This has been the 2-minute drill.